Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. We are in MusicTown, our lovely studios here on the second floor of Hockeytown, downtown Detroit. And I have another special guest in here today, as I do every week. Full band today. And welcome all of you guys. And, of course, our leader of the band here, Nick. And I want to say this right, Piunti.
Perfect.
Shoo.
Thanks, Pam. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And you guys sound good in what I've heard of the sound check, so looking forward to that. But we're going to talk a few minutes beforehand and get to know you guys and what you're all about. Now, first of all, why don't you introduce the band members? Give them some kudos.
My name's Nick Piunti, sing and play guitar. Jeffrey, if he's being formal, Hupp on bass. Ron Vensko, drums. Kevin Darnell, keyboards.
Okay. Now, is this a fairly new band with this last?
Yeah, it
is.
I
thought you changed some things.
Yeah, I put out a few solo albums. I guess actually 4 in the 2000 teens, I guess you call them, and had some great success with them. Donnie Brown was a drummer. He's from the Verve Pipe. Met him through Jeff Michael at Big Sky Recording. I was looking to kind of do a solo record. Wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, and he recommended Donnie, and I did 4 albums with Donnie. And Andy Reid joined us on bass for 3 of those records, recorded at Big Sky Recording in Ann Arbor. And also my friend Ryan Allen guested on most of those records.
Okay.
And helped me with a couple songs too, songwriting. But I was going to do a solo gig a couple years ago, and Jeff Facebook messaged me. So it was like our first date, even though I knew Jeff and knew of him. But he said, hey, you looking for a bass player? He was kind of itching to get back and playing again. And I said, yeah, that might be cool. He says, well, I've got a drummer in mind. So it was Ron. And we got together actually at my restaurant on a Sunday. We're closed. Got a restaurant in Trenton called Sibley Garden. So we rehearsed in there, and it was pretty cool, you know. They were playing songs that they'd never played before live. And then Ryan was also with the band at the time, but kind of on and off. He's busy like we all are.
Yeah.
And he has his own band and bands. And then Jeff a little while later suggested Kevin. Thought it'd be a good addition. And that really kind of brought the music like at a different place. It's funny, you're adding keyboards, think it might soften up the band, but this new record's actually a little bit kind of more rock in ways, so it's...
Well, think of all the big bands that have, keyboard is a huge part of it. Styx comes to mind, for example.
Right. The Heartbreakers, Ben Montez, it's louder than the guitar and some stuff. So, yeah.
So you're needed, Kevin.
I always kind of wanted to have, and, I never really, E Street Band had 2 keyboards. So, yeah, it kind of gives us a different sound, and it's nice playing and rehearsing with a band for the last 2 years, because before I would just go in the studio with whatever songs I had, and then I'd lay my rhythm guitar down, and then we kind of build a song from there. So this is
kind of different
fun.
direction.
Yeah, kind of going back to my roots. You know,
for
being
sure.
12 years old in the basement.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. It's like your story is pretty typical up to a point.
Right.
Okay, so in just kind of giving you what I know, and you can fill in the blanks here, but I believe it was 10 years old. You got your first guitar, a Christmas gift or something.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right.
Okay, so 10, pretty young. Most boys, about 11, 12, 13. More they all of a sudden the guitar, a lot of boys realize, hey, girls like guys with guitars.
That was the idea.
Okay, I thought so. Not unusual. And so from there, I think you were in a band from school. You gathered some guys at 12.
Yep.
So that must have been middle school.
6th grade, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that is middle school now, I guess, isn't it? I don't know. But
yes.
Back then it was elementary school.
Yes. Yeah, like 6th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th would be middle school,
right.
Junior high, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, so, at 12 to think, okay, let's just form this band. That's, first of all, is, when a kid can come up with that and say, yeah, let's do this as a band. And then you were playing all, the gigs already.
Yeah, not too soon after we got together for a 6th grade talent show. I survived getting shocked on the microphone. I wasn't grounded. Amps weren't grounded back then. And I remember I was singing, and I was like this tall, even shorter than I am now at 12. And tears are pouring down my eyes, but I wasn't going to stop singing. I kept getting zapped. It's like, well, they got to hear me. So I survived that. And
oh, my gosh.
soon, actually the fall of that year, our guitar player, Mike Finn, at the time, had older siblings, and they had a friend that played in a band, and he was looking for a project, and his name was Merle, and then he became our band manager, our guru. He was 9 years older than us. And
Who would have thought, sixth grade, you need a band manager, right?
yeah, and who thought, like today, a bunch of 12-year-olds, this 21-year-old guy is going to pick us up in his Vega, and he's going to take us to his apartment. I don't think that would fly today. I don't know.
What did your parents say? Oh, go ahead.
Well, they wanted to meet him, I think, first,
Okay,
and
okay.
That's back when parents weren't helicopter parents,
Yes.
So they gave us a little bit of, and they figured there was 4 of us, we could handle it, and
Yeah, 4 against 1.
so yeah, Merle was our manager for years, and then turned out to be our drummer later in 1980. So anyway, we changed our name to Dwarf, which I had a problem with because I was the smallest one in the band. And it's like, but he got it from Bob Dylan's publishing company, was Dwarf Music.
Oh.
He said Dwarf would be a cool name for a band. So
Well, and you went with it, so.
we did. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't have much
Well,
say.
and I just love the fact that you're at the, 6th grade. Again, they just to form this band already. A lot of times when people do that, like talent shows and whatever, it's high school. I mean, you're in the first year of middle school and doing this. I love that. I just love the fact that you sound like you were definitely a go-getter. And are you still thinking girls here?
Yeah, well, it's probably growing up, watching the Monkees on TV and watching the Beatles. I remember watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I was
yeah.
barely old enough to remember that. And then having a best friend, his name's Pete Maderi, that liked music also. And we started writing songs before we could even really play. I remember my mom finding some lyrics, some romantic lyrics, when I was like 10, 11, and she was a little worried about me. It's like, you know what this is? It's like, oh, it's okay, Mom. It's just a song. So, yeah, I've been doing it for a little while. Still write about the same stuff, but,
Yeah, I think as a mother, I would read that and go, okay, wait, whoa,
Yeah.
slow down. Whoa, what's going on? Yeah. You probably, but she saw how you could play and everything, too, so I'm sure.
Yeah, she wasn't
She
overly
realized it was-
impressed, really, but
No.
it was funny. One of the first big gigs we played, it was a benefit for Plymouth State Home, it's called at the time. And Julia was a headliner, and this band backed Bob Seger, and it's in 1972. They were touring with him. The band was called Julia, and we were the opening band. And the curtains opened up. My mom sat in the audience. There was 600-800 people. There was a lot of people. And someone next to her said, "Oh my God, they really are dwarfs." Dwarves. Because the first singer saw me in the center of the stage. But yeah, I think the other bands thought it was pretty cool. They're in their 20s, and these little kids, rocking,
Yeah.
Just like we would get excited now, seeing some young kids. There's a band called Plastic Beach in Ferndale, high school kids, and it's great. They're playing, rock and roll, and the kids are loving it. It's like, yeah, okay, rock's not dead. It's just,
And rock is pretty much what you were gearing towards. You
Yeah,
did you were influenced by a lot of rock
Yeah.
and roll, too, right?
Yeah, and we played songs at the time that we could handle, being 12 and 13. We did a lot of Stones, a lot of 50s rock and roll stuff. Didn't get, too, above our heads musically. And we wrote songs really much from day one.
I was just going to ask, so were you writing songs also then?
Yeah, we released some singles in the 70s.
Okay.
Dwarf, it's funny, one of them went for a couple $100 on eBay a few years ago.
wow.
It's like, because there's so few are left, and it's like a thing in collectors, and then they had to get home and play it. Maybe they thought better after they paid for it. But
Oh, give yourself more credit than that. Couldn't be all that bad. All right, I tell you what, how about we jump into a song?
sounds great.
Okay, what are you going to start off with
We're
here?
going to do something off our last record here.
Oh, yes.
It's called, the cameras are, but Temporary High.
Yeah, right
it's
here.
on the label Gem Records out of New Jersey. We had quite a few songs in this album, actually. Where 3 of them were played on a Little Stevens Underground Garage.
Oh, yeah, that's a
And-
big,
yeah, that was
serious
pretty cool. He
yeah.
added 3 pretty heavy rotation, and one was the coolest song in the world. But we're going to play something else from that record.
Okay.
My wife said I had to play something that I wrote about her, so.
Oh, what's your wife's name?
Her name's Kelly.
Okay.
She may be listening. She said, "Don't play that You Invented Hell song. That one's not about me." This is called No Return. thinking about you right from the start. Either a hole in my head or a hole in my heart. I found out you're more than I deserve. I'm captured by your spell. There's no return. Something I could control. I found out you're more than I deserve. I'm captured by your spell. There's no return. This is forever. Your spell, there's no return. No return. No return. Right from the start.
Nice. That was from your.
Yeah, that was from Temporary High. It was
which-
called No
that was
Return.
The last one. You
The
have a
last
new one
record.
coming out, and that was the last one. Okay. And so, so that was the fifth, including your solo stuff, right? Or am I fourth?
Yeah. I actually did a solo record in 2002.
Okay.
Then I did a couple albums with some friends. It was called The Respectables. Don Denniston was a drummer in that band. Joe Gatus was the guitarist. Pete Bankert from he had a studio. Actually, it was Downriver at the time. Then Ann Arbor before that. Recorded with him for years, and that was what was The Respectables. Sorry, I'm trying to think which album we're talking about. And we did two of the records, and then with an EP, and that was cool. We got one song in a TV show, one song in a movie.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was pretty
You can do
good. And then kind of felt like I don't know. I guess the band kind of ran its course, and Joe moved to Florida, and so I was thinking, what's next? And then I started writing a bunch of songs, and when they come out in batches, then it's you're onto something. And
Is that how it normally works for you with an album? It kind of all comes out together?
Yeah, they seem to come together. I usually write in the fall a lot. And something,
fall?
I don't know. Maybe summertime I'm busy golfing or just enjoying, Michigan in the summer. And then the fall comes and the weather changes a little bit, and
Beautiful
being
colors.
being inside more.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I actually got together with friend Ryan Allen, who was in a band at the time, Friendly Foes, and wrote a couple songs with him. I had some ideas, and he helped me finish it. So he was an integral part of getting that first record together. And like I said, we recorded it in Ann Arbor at Big Sky with Jeff Michael, who's recorded the last 5 records. And he's just great to work with.
Mm-hmm.
He's super low-key and kind of gets the best out of everybody. And he'll have a subtle way of letting you know if something's not right. It's not like, it's just like,
Let's try this.
Right? Is that what he does? He kind of does.
Pretty much. Yeah, no. He goes, yeah, no.
If I'm feeling it, But
Well, I mean, you need that when someone's doing
Yeah.
it for you, right? You need that to someone that's got a different ear. I mean, because it's your songs and you think they're the best, and they're like your babies and your kids, but an outsider
oh yeah,
can look at it and
it's
say,
true.
No.
Yeah, because I mean, you put the same kind of love in every song you write, whatever.
Right.
But it's hard to be objective.
Yes.
It's just like, I think that's good. I wrote about an important thing in my life, but maybe it's not as catchy, as I thought or whatever. But working with I was lucky. I've always played with great drummers. Merle back in the day was a great drummer. Then we moved to California with another band. We called him Wally Brown. His name was Mike Pianka, great drummer. Then I did some demos, and I had Johnny B playing, and then Don Denniston, Donnie Brown, and Ronnie V, Ron Vensko.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky to have. It's really important to have a good drummer.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of controlling things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm lucky, and I'm lucky I'm lucky to have a band, and I think the band, they like the songs basically. It's like that's why.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like okay, the songs are really good. This would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have jobs, careers, kids. That's why we call it, the term dad rock comes from maybe a certain age.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what
because
of that? Because you have kids?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Not
it's like we're
necessarily
still
the
doing
type of
it.
music?
And it's kind of like the story. It's like, we started when we were 12, and these guys probably not long after, imagine. But the fact that we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And if I didn't feel I was getting better at it, probably wouldn't keep doing it. Because, you see some artists, but, they've, everyone peaks at a different age,
So do you go back to those early times and learn from that and hear yourself and go, that was awful or that was pretty good? And then,
for sure.
and take those things into your music now?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Don't buy one of our like dwarf singles. I mean, they're great novelty things, but yeah, you want to think that you're always gonna get better.
Right. Learn
from something and learn from other musicians. Try to play with people that are better than you in something, and you're going to learn something from them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a one-man band and can do anything and no one else can play these parts, it's like I don't really like to do that. I like to even like with this last record, I didn't really make any demos. I brought the songs down. You guys do what you think, and
that's trust in your band members.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It was.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said thanks, Nick, for trusting us.
Yeah, you gotta trust your instincts. That's a different album.
Yeah.
But
nice time.
yeah, I mean, it makes it more of a band to me. I mean, I could dictate everyone's parts, but yeah, that wouldn't be fun for them. They probably wouldn't want to do it.
And it wouldn't last.
No, and then they bring something different to it. And next song we're gonna play, Kevin. Ryan was with us when we were arranging songs. He said, "Do a piano solo." I was like, "Cool, yeah, we haven't had a piano solo in like ages." And I didn't tell Ron what to play. I mean, Kevin what to play. He just, but it's cool. Just we bang stuff out in the basement or in Kevin's house. Kevin's house is fun because we get loud. It's a real big room, and then the neighbor kids kind of come look in the windows and stuff. Reminds me when I was a kid, looking in the window when Derek St. Holmes was across the street from me.
Oh, really?
Later, was, Ted Nugent. They had a band called Scott.
Yeah.
And we're 11 years old looking in the windows, and that was, that was a big part of probably they wanted me. And these guys were like rock stars before they were rock stars. They had, they had big hair, dogs, matching dogs, Afghan dogs, or the dogs that look like supermodels. They'd walk these dogs around town.
Yes,
these guys were rock stars. I mean, they played it. And it's like, it's like, yeah, I want to do that.
Isn't it cool that, when kids looking in your window now and you think, who of these kids might be, when they're 30 years old, whatever, that they're in that position because you guys, just put a spark in them, and got their imaginations going. You just never know.
It was cool. We invited them inside, and then they left, and abruptly we found out because they broke one of the vases, and we didn't find out till a little bit later.
Where'd they go? And then we look around, and then
so we called the police, and like you're supposed to know.
So you're going to get, 20 years from now, you're going to get a bass and you're going to say, I'm paying you back.
Right.
Thank you very much for the inspiration. And sorry, we broke it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you never know. That's so cool. I love the fact that, you're really putting something in, a kid's imagination in their minds that, hey, I could do this. I could be this too, which I think is really, really cool. So you mentioned Joey. The name is familiar. Is that Joe? What's the son's name? Joe.
Oh, Joe Egatis. Yeah,
yes.
He was in School Rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
And,
I was like, when you said the name,
Respectable's record, right away when that movie opportunity was happening for him, and then Joey actually guested on one of the songs. He played a solo in it.
That was one. Yeah.
12 or 13 at the time.
Very cool.
Yeah, he was pretty great.
Very cool.
Yeah, remained friends with the family for a long time. Joe was a learned a lot from Joe. You know, we came from different styles of music. He was pretty, you know, tough, demanding on me. But it's like if I didn't up my game, you know, working with him. But I think ultimately came down to, you know, his heart was a little harder rock than mine. And though he loved the pop stuff, but just, you know, that kind of rock was more rock, however you want to pronounce it.
Well, you're called power pop right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
there were some elements in that. With the last Respectables album called Sibley Gardens, that's kind of we entered the power pop, you know, world. You know, the whole power pop thing, it's great because it gives a lot of bands some attention that they might not get any other way.
Okay.
The only thing is if you stay too confined in that.
Kind of stuck.
Yeah, because
Kinda stuck,
lyrically
yeah.
some of the power pop stuff is pretty slight. You know, try to be a little beyond that, especially as you're growing up. I mean, you're not going to write about first dates as much, you know. I mean, I write some songs
you're
about
married and everything.
my kids or
Yeah.
trying to guide them in a certain way
Right,
or
right.
about someone else's
Well,
relationship.
that's
you
what
know.
happens with songwriting. It kind of goes with the flow of your
Yeah.
life and what's happening at that time too. So
Right,
I mean,
for
it's
sure.
kind of cool. You can listen to music and kind of get a feel for what what your life is like and what, where you're at in your stage of your life. So
Oh, for sure, yeah.
and I talked earlier about the how you start out. It's kind of pretty common way of kids. You start to get the guitar and then playing in the little garage band and going from there. Well, you took it the next step when you decided to move to L.A. Thinking about what'd you think? Like this is going to be the big place to do my music, or what was your thought?
Well, back then in Detroit, I mean, this was in the mid '80s. There really wasn't. I mean, the Romantics, happened out of Detroit. Marshall Crenshaw, but he wasn't in Detroit when it happened for him. He was in New York.
Right.
So there really wasn't. The idea was that you're going to move to New York or LA, and it's like, well, we finished college. Okay, now we got this little window if we're going to do something. So let's move to LA. It's warmer there. I think the winter of '84 might have been really tough. I don't know. So we got a little bit of attention. Someone from Geffen Records was responding to us.
That's
came
good.
to see us play, but we were kind of we were on the end of what that LA pop thing was happening.
Okay.
Plimsolls, I was kind of a fan of them, and then the hair metal, then Poison and Guns N' Roses and Faster Pussycat.
You weren't going there.
That wasn't our thing.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, we were in the same apartment that Faster Pussycat was. You probably don't remember that band, but they were a glam rock band, and,
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we kind of found that this isn't really. We should have went to Minneapolis instead or something. Open for replacements. It would have been a much
How long
better
were
fit.
you in LA then?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's long enough to know.
Yeah,
that,
long enough. Didn't want to. I think kind of knew right when we got there it was going to be a little tougher than we thought, but so we got to stick it out.
Okay.
We just can't. And it's funny. My idea to move out there, everyone else stayed out there.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
whole band
interesting.
stayed out there, so they started their lives out there. So.
But you came
Funny,
back to Detroit.
And I came back. Yeah, I mean, we had a family restaurant, and so that was kind of tugging at me. It's like, and I could see that and the band was kind of breaking up. My best friend left the band, Pete. So it kind of changed the vibe.
Yeah.
Initially it was kind of our band together, and then it was turning more into my band thing. I was doing more of the writing and singing at the time, and so he was he got engaged, got married, so it was time for him to go in a different direction. So I came
that
back.
happens.
And, yeah, still,
Well, I'm glad
great
you came
friends.
back, and you've been here ever since,
Yeah.
right? You haven't
Yeah.
left again. Okay.
Yeah, haven't left again.
Okay. Well, and you're doing well with your music.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's kind of funny. It's like I say, I'm like good wine. I get better with age, but it's got to be good red wine. Good white wine, not necessarily.
So yeah, give me a good Italian.
And
red
having a
wine, yeah.
supportive wife, Kelly's just, it's great. She comes most every show. There's a sign when your wife stops coming to see you play, you probably should quit. And so she still comes to the show. So
All
I
right,
get a lot of
that's a good way
support.
to look at it.
I live downriver, so when we play like Northern Ferndale, Royal Oak, it's kind of hard to get some people that want to drive and drive home. But luckily, these guys in the band, bring people too. And we've got other friends and.
Well, it's good to go further because then you get a wider, more people that
Yeah.
get to know your music. If you stay in the same little thing, and then how do you you get the same people that come and hear you, which is great. You love your regulars
Right.
that support
yeah,
you.
you get a little false
but you-
sense of security.
Yes,
Oh, you're great
yeah.
again. It's like, yeah, not really. Not tonight we weren't. But, we've got a lot of local support, too. WDET, Rob Reinhardt's been fantastic. Ann DeLisi, John Mosier's played us.
Well, that's important too. You need to get your name out there, and
Yeah,
which
that's-
is why you're on MusicTown today, guys.
Woohoo,
Hey.
yeah, it's good.
Thank
It's
you.
funny. It's like, you're always kind of growing up, you're kind of bypassing Detroit when we're kids because it's like you got to go to one of the other two cities. And then, then it switched,
Yeah.
in the 90s, and we are our own thing. And,
Yes, it's
I
really
was busy
big
raising a
turnaround.
family then, so I was kind of put a guitar down, didn't really write a song for 5 years. And then I think it was getting close to my 40th birthday. I said, yeah, if I don't start now, when
Oh.
am I going to start?
You hit one of those milestones. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I need to decide here.
Right.
Yeah, and your family was obviously behind you, so that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my wife's she's amazing.
I mean,
One of the songs I wrote about her is "You're perfect and I'm not." It kind of sounds funny, but yeah, it's pretty true.
yeah. If you don't, at this point, if you didn't go back to music, you'd be just doing restaurant stuff, right?
Yeah, and I still do that, full time. And now I've got a nephew that's getting in the business. That's
Okay.
nice. So
It's always something to back on. But,
yeah, I
fall
got to
back
retire
on,
and
but,
go on tour. One day.
There you go. Dream big, guys. You can do it. All right. How about another song?
Not too late.
Yes, never too late. All right. What do you got?
Gee.
I'll get my headphones on. I hear everybody.
Yep.
This is from the new record. It's we have a band name now, Nick Piunti and the Complicated Men.
And these are your
And,
complicated men.
Yeah, well, like Ryan came up with a name, and he really fits the bill probably better than any of us. But he's just a youngster. He just turned 40 this year, so he had a milestone. But this is actually one of the songs that I wrote kind of for one of my daughters. She's kind of going through a little, relationship thing, and I was kind of giving her some fatherly advice.
Okay.
And it's the band's called Nick, like I said, Nick Piunti and the Complicated Men. The album will be out late April, May, and the album's called Downtime. Oh, on Gem Records. I got to say that. It gives me $5 every time I say it. This is called Every High. See how this plays out. Start a habit of it going nowhere. Shadow of a doubt. Just enough to make you think I don't care. Still remember the things we should forget. Every hour has its lows. Every stop waiting for the call. Every time we get close, tear it down. The things we love the most. See how this plays out. Start a history that's not repeated. We should take a shot of ourselves out of this self-defeating world we came from. We're not the only one. Every hour has its lows. Every stop
right, new song from an upcoming album. You said spring?
Yeah, depends on vinyl pressing, how long it takes for them to do that.
Okay.
So.
Is everything done, ready to go, though?
Yeah, everything's done. Just figuring out the artwork.
Okay.
Kind of battling with the record company over that. So
There's a
it's
lot
the
to-
usual. That's part of the fun.
Are you being sarcastic there?
Well, I gotta watch.
got a tone
I gotta
there.
watch what I'm texting. It's like, oh, I sent that to him instead of supposed to be talking about him. I sent it to him. But
Marty's definitely watching. So.
Now,
yeah, hey Marty.
do any of you do vocals, or you do all the vocals? Anybody else pitch
Yeah,
in?
mostly. On the record, we actually had a couple guests. Ryan played on 3 to 4 of the songs,
Okay.
and Ryan sings with me. And then Chris Plum, a good friend of Jeff's, he came in the studio one day and had some great vocals on 3 other songs. And he keeps threatening to join us, for a show, but we haven't seen him yet. So we'd love for him to do that. And he's a great percussionist too. I mean, Ryan and Chris, they both play a tambourine like a champ.
That's
Tambourine's
jam.
actually a very difficult.
It is.
Really?
Surprisingly,
Oh, I wouldn't
to
have.
do it properly, it's very difficult.
Why?
Takes a steady hand and
Okay.
a light touch.
Oh.
When you see people kind of shaking around and hitting it really hard, that's not really the way it's done.
Jeff's a drummer as well,
Eh,
so he knows all that.
Yeah.
okay.
Probably
Well, I
too
learned
much
something
info.
today. I did not realize.
Yeah, he's been taking tambourine lessons for 8 years.
years. Still quite don't have it.
I'm gonna jump to my Pam exam here.
Uh-oh. These are unrehearsed, not like Jeopardy. We don't know these questions.
That is correct. Random,
Rando.
You're on the spot.
and you all can answer.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
What are you most thankful for?
I would say for me, kids. Kids have been pretty great.
How many?
2
Okay.
so far. So good.
He's still spry, Jeff. He's thinking. A couple
No, I just meant they've been so far so good. I'm thankful for them.
Wait, no more kids.
Yeah, I said
No.
thought the same thing you did.
Yeah, it's the Pam word. That's not good.
Nick, how about you?
Well, my family, health, my wife, I have 3 daughters. They're all completely great in different ways. And one's like me, and we butt heads. And and the best thing about her is she holds no grudges. And then we've got another one's more like her mom, more chill, artistic. Marissa graduated from college, works for Chrysler. Megan's finishing her senior year, Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. She's actually going to design a cover for us. And then Olivia is our 16-year-old, and she keeps us young, and she's a lot of fun.
Need that.
And so, yeah, that's
I
what I'm
think
most
that's-
thankful for. Plus, I've got a business, restaurant business, Sibley Gardens, that's been started by my grandparents, and we're still going.
That's been around, yeah. I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it's been
a long
around for a
time.
long time.
Long,
and
long time.
Current building since 1949.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, I'm thankful for that gives me the strong base so that I can have fun like this.
Yeah, and food all the time.
Yeah, a lot of food.
Anybody else want to answer? And if not, we can just move. I want to go right to the next one. Okay.
I mean, I
We
would.
look like you were leaning into the
Yeah, yeah.
microphone, so I wasn't.
I would
didn't
say
wanna
the same
cut you off.
thing. I mean, family and friends.
Family and friends,
Playing with these guys is a lot of fun too, as well. They make the music
Yeah.
really come alive, and it's a fun time for sure.
Awesome. Is there a song, a person, or an event that inspired you to go into the music business?
Well, we come from slightly different age. I mean, I'm a few years older than these guys. Probably, I kind of wanted to be Davy Jones. I mean, he had 8 maracas he could hold. That was something.
Well, you did mention earlier the monkeys.
He got the girls, let me
shows.
tell you, Davy.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
like little, so I thought that was pretty cool. I kind of identified with that.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I get a little bit older, but listening to Creedence records and Beatle records and the Who, huge Who fan, and then got into the Raspberries and Slade. And every year, you get older, something different. Aerosmith, Get Your Wings record came out. It was like perfect album for 13-year-old male. And so there's always, still searching new music. I mean, there's new music made every day that can just knock me out.
Yeah.
Not going to necessarily hear it maybe in the traditional ways, but, it's out there. You just may have to dig a little bit deeper. Of course, we're older. It's like top 40 radio's not necessarily made for,
Right.
someone our age. So you have to kind of.
So you're saying music today still inspires you, and you
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
listen to that? Do you listen to
There's
it and
local
then?
bands that inspire me too. I mean, there's a lot of talent around here.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
a lot.
There's always you're always learning and
Yeah.
new things, whatever.
It's
And
like, boy, I'd like to do that. I like that.
do you listen to a specific music or person before you really delve into your writing?
No, I try. And funny, like my favorite songs, I try never to really figure them out because I don't want to end up being something I'm gonna unconsciously steal.
Oh, okay.
So some of my favorite songs I don't know how to play. Kind of keep it that way. We're not a cover band, so we're not learning every new song
Right.
that comes out. But there's new artists. I mean, Billie Eilish. I mean, she's definitely not supposed to be for someone my age. But I'm just listening. It's like, this is where'd she get this from at her age and these lyrics and sounds like nothing else. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think someone our age necessarily trying to do what that would just come off as pretty, kind of ridiculous.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to be kind of true to what you are, and Cheap Trick or whatever. They're still kind of doing what they're doing, but they're still making great records. People might not know it because
Yeah.
it's not "I Want You to Want Me" or "Surrender," but they can still do it.
Okay. I'm gonna just keep going to some, but if you have something you want to chime in, feel free before I go to the next song. Because you all are on microphone. So, what do you miss about being younger?
Wait, are you inferring something? I miss being able to play a gig and not having to go to bed right after. Because I hurt.
Or pay for it the next day.
I'm tired, and I need to go to bed.
That's funny.
It's like the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock spot. Oh, well, we'll play that for sure.
Me first.
It's like going on at midnight or 1 o'clock is a little tough.
Yeah.
I don't know, having more energy, I guess. I don't know. Just being able to freely do whatever you want with no responsibilities, And it's like now as adults with, 3 kids,
Yeah.
you've got a home, you got all these different things
Throw
you got to
that
think
one out the
about.
window.
Yeah, so it's like the responsibility there.
Yeah.
It's just huge. But being a younger kid, just doing your small little job, paper route or whatever maybe, and go downstairs and playing your drums with your headphones on and just playing to the riff, whatever, or LLZ all day long, no care in the world. You don't have to worry about, except the next week or day or whatever for your test or something. But that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick, do you want to answer that one?
I probably just that when you're kids, think anything is possible. We could, our band was called Dwarf. Could we be the next whatever, And I think, you get older making music. Obviously, you still want accolades for what you do, and so you kind of shoot just, you aim more realistically, but it's the fact that you can reach anybody and everybody today is pretty cool. If we could have did that when we were kids, that would have been
That would have changed
that
some
would have been
things.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably would have. Probably Kim Fowley would have came and managed us, and we'd all been in rehab at 15. But
If you could have any one person in your band and they could be dead or alive at this point, who would that be?
Wow. That's a tough one. Bowie,
Ooh.
yeah, I
That'd
mean
be
that
so
was
cool.
Yeah, I mean I think of my hero. I mean Tom Petty was probably the most recent hero. I mean maybe he let me write some songs with him, but he's going to sing, and I'll sing backup with him. That would be pretty cool. 'Cause Mike Campbell didn't really sing backup. Stan Lynch did, but they kicked him out. But
That'd be a good one.
obviously, I mean, what are you going to be? Paul McCartney play bass? It's just like, okay, I'll just kind of go over here in my corner, So you want someone, I think, that's on the same wavelength. And that's why I feel like a Tom Petty kind of. It's not like anyone ever called Tom Petty a genius like they did maybe Bowie or or the Beatles or
Yeah.
Brian Wilson.
Okay.
But it was like he knew what he could do, what he liked. He reinterpreted music from the past, made it his own. Even though, like, when Roger McGuinn first heard American Girl, he asked him, when did I record that song? He thought it was him. I mean, because Tom was really good at, it's funny, he could really cop someone else, but he got like a free pass from it. It's like, that's so cool, so good and so cool. that's okay. That you sound like the Byrds, or you sound like, you know.
So
Van
he
Morrison
was
or
good
whatever.
on the business end of it. He knew, the
Yeah.
how to,
Yeah, he had a
but very talented.
grace
Yeah.
about him, yeah. So yeah, maybe Tom Petty.
Okay, that would be
cool.
a good one. You guys would step aside for Tom Petty, huh?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just glad you
All
didn't
right.
call a keyboard player.
There you go.
We could have 2 keyboard players.
All right, fill in the blank. I'm really good at blank. I'm really bad at blank.
Oh, I'm really good at golf, and I'm really bad at golf, because golf, one day it's like you got it, and next day it's like, I suck. I mean, how many golfers say that? Even pro golfers say that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, or being a dad. Some days I think I'm the best dad, and other days it's like, why did I say that? Lost my cool. I'm the worst. My kids aren't gonna love me anymore.
Oh, they will.
But, so yeah, those 2, golf and dad.
Favorite food and beverage of choice.
Well, I'm trying to, my wife made me go spinning the last 3 times last week, so I'm trying to change my favorite foods and beverages, but like getting off the sodas or pop as we call it in Detroit. Pasta, pizza. It's kind of hard. I know carbs aren't supposed to be cool, but
What,
come on.
We're not going there. Just what is your favorite?
Yeah,
That's
that's
all
my
I'm asking.
favorite. And some good red wine. And water. Yeah, I love water.
Okay. What else? What advice would you give your 20-year-old self? I'll put some
I
heavy
guess-
sighs in here today.
Yeah, I guess I would say, I think at 20, I was in a band, an original band, but I was also working full time. And I think if I had to do it over again, I'd probably tell myself to go all in on the music and see how that works out, as opposed to trying to live those 2 lives. Because that was very difficult. And I feel like at 20, you feel like you have all this pressure. But in reality, you typically don't owe anybody money. You don't owe anybody really anything, typically. So at the time, I felt like I couldn't do that. But now, I wish I would have probably gone all in and just kind of chased that dream a little harder.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I'd say the same thing. I mean, out of high school, I got a full-time job, hated it, and then I went right into the college at U of M, and that was like a full-time thing there too.
Yeah.
But and still did music as like that was my main thing that I wanted to do. But I was like, okay, well, I still got to get my degree, and I got to do that, and staying at home. And my mom got divorced, and so it's like all these things happening. But it's like to move out, which was an idea at one point, and just do music 24/7. Yeah, I think things would have probably been different. I'd have a lot of tattoos probably, and just be,
You look more rock.
I definitely, probably drink way more,
Kevin's got to answer something.
unfortunately.
Oh, no. I mean, we just all hit those crossroads, right? Maybe Nick did it at 6th grade, but, a lot of us did it around 20,
Yes.
And, it was that why in the road. Do you go music, or do you, pick a different direction? And, for me personally, I've had music in my life since I was 7, and I hit that crossroad, and I said I can always play music. And so, but we all think back and think, wow, should we have done the LA route and tried something like that, or
Yeah,
something
it's
different?
funny. I mean, if I was a 20-year-old and say, Nick, in 39 more years, you're going to be like getting this band and ready to put out another record. I'd say, are you crazy? Because when we were 20, we figured if you were still doing it at 30 and didn't make it, as we said,
done.
well, what are you doing? We always felt like we had a window, and maybe, looking back, it's like, you don't really have a window. Music is there forever.
Right.
But at the time, there really weren't old rock stars when we were 12, 13. They were what were they, 30 maybe? And that was kind of, they did everything they did in their 20s mostly.
Yeah.
So
I also think that we
changed.
were in the wrong genre. I think that if we were country guys,
Yeah.
they can age into
they did. The
that.
country music is good at, they give more respect to their elders, than like rock and roll, It's just,
Never thought of it that way, but yeah,
well,
that
it's,
makes
it's Pete Townsend's fault. Hope I die before I get old. That whole, that thought that rock and roll is just for young men. But,
Yeah. Well, as many have proved us all wrong.
I think
That-
Pete
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
'Cause how old's Pete? 77?
70s, yeah.
Well, I mean, just look at the Stones. There's a good example
Yeah.
there. It's like, holy moly, how much longer can they go?
Yeah.
All right, your favorite non-music pastime? Well, I think yours is golf. Or
Yeah, I'm a
something
golf
different?
nut. Yeah.
Golf. Jeff?
These guys don't golf.
We don't golf. I don't do sports. I can't do it. I would. I don't know. That's
Bourbon?
I used to be bourbon. Yeah, it always comes back to music in the end for me. It's like I've tried other things, but yeah.
I mean, do you like to read? Do you like to cook?
I do like to read. I
there
like
you
to
go.
read autobiographies.
There you go.
I did. I just finished the Pete Townsend one, as a matter of fact.
And he actually an author. He wrote a really cool book
Oh,
that
really?
he should release, but I'm gonna bug him until he just does it. Yeah, kind of.
Is it about
Nick's
music?
the only
Young
one
rock
who-
and roll
It
life.
is. It's about. It's about.
There you go. I mean, that would be a hit.
Yeah, well, or
There you
not.
go. Okay.
I mean, I would say fixing things. That sounds silly.
Handyman or just
Yeah, like handyman stuff. I mean, it's like
Do you do drywall?
I'll do anything unless it's like it's gonna like shock
Okay, I
and
need your
kill
number
me.
before you leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'll look at it and I'll like, oh, okay, well, it's serious electrical stuff or whatever.
Oh.
I can't do that. But if it's like, I mean, I'll take an engine apart or whatever.
I was just gonna say, when you were a kid, did you take things apart and put them back together?
Yeah, my mom bought me one of those erector sets.
Oh, yeah.
I remember just sitting in my bedroom, just making all kinds of things with these tools, and then So then, of course, I kept that, and then I gave it to my kids, and like that was fun for about 5 minutes, and then they were just like, "What the hell is this, Dad?" Like, it's like, it's like I want to play a video game or something else different.
Yeah.
But yeah, fixing, using your hands,
Cool. That's cool.
definitely.
Kevin, do you have something?
Yeah, for me, it's sports. I mean,
You play or watch?
I lived with a basketball in my hand, or throwing a football, or frisbee, or soccer ball, or anything. I mean, it didn't
Okay.
matter. It was just get me in a game and have fun.
Have fun. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's tough for Kevin because we rehearse on Sundays, and he always comes in and it's like, "Don't tell me what the Lions are doing." It's very.
The score.
And it's like I was a baseball nut when I was a kid. In fact, I'm looking at Willie Horton, and I actually messed up a chord in every high because I was trying to figure out Willie's Horton batting average in 1970. It's an F sharp minor, not a B minor, Nick. So I'll hear that later.
Can we punch that in later?
All right. How about another song, guys?
Yep. We're gonna do. We released a song as a single. Got some volume. Yep. This is called "All This Time," and this will be on the. It's kind of our epic rock tune.
Okay.
So wrote this about a good friend that was going through a tough time with his marriage, and not about my marriage. My wife wants a disclaimer on the album. Song's not about Kelly. It's called "All This Time." Got a lot of nerve to say I'm overserved. It's not the drink that did me in. Can't find no comfort in my skin. So I called your bluff. Said there's not enough love or money to get by. Could have made it if we tried. But you lied to me. You were afraid to see if I could take it. So you faked it all this time. If my time is up, I kiss my hands. I come. I would blame you. That won't change you. Not this time. Through all this time. I need you close to me while I figure out what's next. Just retracing every step. Love was number 5, deep 6 overnight. Confess to everything. It was you that you in. When you lied to me, you were afraid to see if I could take it. So you faked it all this time. Yeah, my time is up in our hands. I cup. I would blame you. That won't change you. Not this time. All I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind. All I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind. All I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind. All I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind. Well, all I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind. Yeah, all I wanna do is wake up without you on my mind.
I can see why Kelly wants a disclaimer there.
That's right. Yeah. She wants a lot of disclaimers.
Okay, so that's from the new album.
Yep.
Which will be
The new
coming
album
out
is called Downtime,
Downtime.
which is a kind of a line in one of the songs. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool. And working on a neat concept for the record cover. And
Cool.
like I said, it's going to be vinyl and CDs, even though these new cars, they don't have CD
No
players.
CD
I mean, come
players.
on.
It's-
My daughter works for Chrysler. It's like, don't you have any influence? Put a CD player in there next cheap.
I agree with you. It's like
crazy.
I've got so many CDs and I want to just
Right.
pop the CD in.
Yeah. You got to look at your phone if you put the CD in.
No.
And just,
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
they'll
But it's
come back
cool
one day.
that you're doing vinyl too, and of course your last one was on vinyl. Did you do each one on vinyl or just starting?
Actually, the only one that didn't was Trust Your Instincts. That was the
Okay.
first record with Jem, and he was just kind of starting his company. He's like, I don't know about vinyl, and but then we got a lot of airplay on Sirius XM on the Loft when it was still around, and yeah, he should have done vinyl. He was a little tight, you know. Maybe. We just straighten him out, but
Okay. Well, it's cool that you do the vinyl now. You know, I mean, kids want
Yeah.
vinyl now too, which
yeah,
is kind of cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All those people that got rid of their turntables.
Now they're
So-
buying them again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that's cool that you do that on vinyl as well. CD, right or no?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, still do CD. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, Jack White has been great and pushing vinyl.
Oh yeah,
Obviously, you
Third
know,
Man
and
Records. Yeah.
brings bands in Nashville and they record and limited release things, and so they're all collectibles. You know,
Yes.
it's just
Well, then Record Store Day just blew up, so
Yeah.
that really helped it
yeah.
along.
We want to make sure we don't release our album that same week as Record Store Day will get lost. So it's like
Oh,
well, let's do
good
a couple weeks
point.
after that,
Good
which probably
point.
bring it into May.
Good point. Well, or you know, there's two trains of thought on this one. You know,
Yeah.
gotta think about that.
Marty, you're out. Okay, Pam's gonna run the show. Okay, she's got a good idea.
Oh, I don't know because people look for on that day look for releases.
That's true.
I know.
That is true.
Yeah.
So as long as it's out by then,
Marty, are
Nick,
you listening?
Maybe, yeah. That's I don't. Oh, I'm not your band manager, but I'm,
maybe you should be.
so all right. So we'll look for that. Where's the best place for people to find you and to find out about your music and everything?
Yeah, I mean, if you can just like spell my name, you can find me. You know, obviously, you know, if you don't want to pay, you just go to Spotify and YouTube, whatever. But the records are available anywhere. If it's not in the store, they can get them.
Okay.
Sony distributes it, so it's a small label but big distribution company. So
And what's your website address?
yeah, it's just nickpiunti.com. I haven't changed it to add the band name because I don't know these guys would stick with me for 2 years, honestly.
Well, in which I
And
would
there's
really,
Facebook and all that.
So I want to ask. So what's the Complicated Men?
Mm-hmm.
Is the name of the band? So is there a story behind that?
Actually, Ryan came up with that name. I think he wanted to name one of his bands that, and maybe they voted him down, and we were like, you know, at first my wife said, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, that makes sense." So yeah, I think it's kind of cool. We did when Steve Van Zandt was in town, I year and a half ago. I met him, and he was great. I talked to him for half an hour, and he didn't. This guy, stage manager, hey, we got to go on. He's like, yeah, okay. We're still talking. And he announced me from the crowd. It was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. I
fun.
caught a little video of that. But I told him the name of the band. He kind of a little chuckle. So maybe he liked it. Maybe he thinks it's silly, but
Well,
it is what we are.
That's what you got now.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure having you in here.
thanks
and
Thank you.
us.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
having us.
Talking. Yeah. Sound great. Look forward to this
Oh,
new
thank you.
album coming out. And what's the next big thing? Next big thing after the album?
Yeah, we just got we're still planning a release party, record release party. See what airplay we can get. Like, we all have commitments, jobs, and stuff, so it won't be a
Right.
big world tour. But we're going to Grand Rapids in April to play, and I've got some friends in Nashville that want us to go down there,
good.
and maybe East Coast. We'll do a little like a weekend things, you know.
So little Steven can hook you up with something?
Yeah, he probably could definitely.
I mean,
he
he voted
had a-
your song the coolest song.
he had a great idea, that he was talking like with the Hard Rocks. But it's funny, the Hard Rock closed a few weeks after I met him. But he was talking about having Hard Rocks having band set up, so
Yeah. Yeah.
small bands can come in. They've got backline there. They can travel real easy. Play, 30-minute set, kind of like back, years ago, and
Yeah.
really have a thing for it. I think it's a great idea, and he hasn't been able to pull that off yet. But
Keep your fingers crossed.
yeah, you never know. I
You
mean,
never know.
I think it's a great idea. It's like for bands, you read about bands and time they're, all their equipment's stolen in the band,
Oh, yeah.
trying to do it. But if all you got to bring is a guitar,
You're good.
and you can
Strap it to
handle
your back
that,
and you're good.
yeah. So that would
All
be
right.
cool.
Well, thank you again so much. We do appreciate that. Nick, Jeff, Ron, and Kevin, the Complicated Men.
Yeah.
And thanks to all of you out there watching. We do appreciate you. Yes, wave to the cameras. Thanks for listening and watching today. I do appreciate that. I'm Pam Rossi from our beautiful MusicTown studios. Until next time, have a great week.